Hey everybody, Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So we are continuing our conversation about spiritual protection, energy that we vibrate out there, whether that's really trickster energy. Is it more important to use our discernment, all that kind of stuff, protection prayers that we use? We've been having this is now the fourth conversation where I'm not answering, but the lead team is answering your questions about this. So you may want to go back after you're done listening. You can continue listening today and then go back and catch part 1, 2, and 3. I will post them. I'll put at the end of this video 1, 2, and 3. Okay. If you want to grab whichever one maybe you haven't listened to. I'm particularly finding them quite useful. So for someone who's on a spiritual journey and just trying to understand the universe a little differently than I have. So hopefully you are too. At the end of this, I do want to share some information of what I understand is happening with the Strait of Hormuz. And it's not to give fear at all. It's just some practical information that I have found that I just thought I would share with anyone who's interested. So we'll do that at the end, just in case you're not hearing the same thing. I'm kind of curious to hear what other people are hearing. And it is mostly to understand what might be coming down, because our governments are not telling us that. I don't think they're telling us accurate information. And I think it's important for us to have an accurate information so that we can make the best decisions for ourselves and our families. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and I'll say my little prayer and then we'll continue with these questions that you guys have. So I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, our community, the lead team collective, so it is all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Hey, lead team. Thank you for being here, as always. Okay, so we want to continue this conversation about spiritual protection and whether it's, really works, is it important, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to continue with the list of your guys' questions, okay? Again, this is like part 4. So if you're like, well, what about this? It's probably because we've already talked about it. But I'll probably end up reiterating some things that we've talked about. Okay, so lead team. Is discernment more important than spiritual tools? Yes. So we were talking about spiritual tools like using pendulums, or you can use pendulums, but discernment is how do you use the messages you're getting is really where it's more important. So is discernment more important than any spiritual message? Yes. Is discernment different depending on who you are? Yes. If I feel that something is okay and someone else doesn't, is my discernment wrong? No. Does that mean that I'm using discernment and following my heart, my love? Because if something feels right, then you're following a higher vibration. Is that correct? If something feels off or wrong and you follow it, you're probably following a lower energy, like your lower energy. Yes. But something may feel right to one person that is a lower energy than what I'm at, but it feels higher to them. Yes. And that's because of where they're vibrating. So if they may be vibrating at a lower level than, let's say I am, but it's higher, but the message they're getting is higher than how they have been vibrating. And so that's why it feels higher to them. Is that correct? Yeah, this is all ding, 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 ding for me. This is why there are no right answers. truth. I'm going to keep going back to that message we got during self-care, one of our self-care sessions we have at the beginning of every month with the lead team. I do one at the first of every month. The card was truth is different at different levels of consciousness. It's the same here. So this makes so much common sense to me. If I am vibrating, let's just say I'm vibrating lower than somebody, and every day is going to be different, right? Depending on what's going on. But let's just say my ascension process, I'm not quite at the ascension as maybe one of you are, okay? So I get a message that I'm like, yeah, hot damn, that feels really good to me because I'm vibrating from down here, but that message is still a higher vibration than where I'm at. But you get the message and you're like, no, because that's a lower vibration from where you're at. I mean, hello? Is anybody else understanding this? This is why Jesus talks so much. How many times did they say don't judge? How many times in the Bible and I'm not a Bible person. I don't even never talk about Jesus hardly ever just because I'm not a Christian necessarily. I do believe in Jesus and that he lived and that he had some really good messages for us and Mary Magdalene and all that. But how many times did they say just don't judge? Don't judge, because, and we do it. We just spend all day, every day judging each other, Oh my God, I love this so much. I love that for me, and again, this may not be feeling right to you because we're not vibrating at the same, we're just at different levels. And I may be at a lower one than you, I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter, does it? I'm turning my air conditioning. I mean, it just doesn't really matter, Why make it matter? Why does it matter? It shouldn't matter to anybody, any of us, how anybody else is. Everybody's on their own journey. Okay, let's see. Are some frightening spiritual experiences being misinterpreted? Yes. So again, does it have to do with the level of ascension that we're at when it feels frightening? Yes. Is it because our nervous systems haven't experienced something like that before? Yes. And so is it our physical body that's having that reaction? And our mind, because we just it's hard to understand it. Yes. Does that mean it is a threatening spiritual experience? Is it something? No. Does that mean, so again, somebody else might not see it as frightening? Yes. Okay. Is there more than one explanation for experiences people describe as spiritual attacks? Yes. Does it really have to do with the vibration again? I mean, really, it's all boiling down to that. Now, yes, because I'm kind of understanding it this way, I may be limiting the kind of questions I'm asking, which is why, again, if you have questions, I'm going to be pulling them from all four, and we'll probably do a fifth just to do follow-up on your questions about this. I just find this to be very, very helpful and important conversation. That's what my intuition is telling me. Are many perceived dark energies actually unresolved ancestral trauma? Oh, yes. Yes. But are they really dark energies? Is it dark? So it's shadow. So isn't that interesting that it's called shadows? And shadow is a dark light, right? It's not a light, but it's dark. So yes. Okay, that's interesting. Can inherited trauma appear as an outside spiritual presence? What? Yes. I don't even know what that means. An inherited trauma appear as an outside spiritual presence. Again, we create our own reality, and if we believe in something, we'll be able to see it. If you don't believe in something, I don't think you'll be able to see it. Yes. I don't know. Are energy systems more vulnerable in areas where unresolved wounds already exist? Yes. Great questions. Can healing trauma strengthen spiritual protection? Yes. And I think it has to do with all this whole conversation we've been having. Excuse me. If you are living with trauma and it's not healed, then you are going to be vibrating around that trauma at a different level than you would if you heal it. So yes. Does the need for protection, spiritual protection, indicate the presence of unhealed wounds? What? Yes. There we go. There we go. Because it's, again, so it really just, all of it has to do with how you're vibrating. Yes. Can unresolved self-worth issues weaken spiritual protection? See, you guys even knew this because of the questions you're asking. Yes. Amazing. I'm not sure if I would have asked that question at the beginning of part 1 of this, that I would have understood that. That's how far I feel like this little series has brought me. So I'm hoping that others will feel the same way if this has been helpful. Is protection less important than learning to allow and process difficult feelings? Yep, you guys got this. Oh my gosh. Can a person reach a state where attacks no longer affect them? 100%. Just like, somebody who makes comments, if it's no longer a shadow of yours, they can't trigger you. It can't trigger you anymore. It's probably the same thing. Can you guys hear the thunder out there? If you're hearing any rumbling, it's because it's thundering. I see one of my neighbors walking around. Oh, what do they do? Uh-oh, they're calling for me. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. I'll let you know at the end of this video what happened last night. I live in a condo area, and I thought trees were on fire near us, and I'll show you a video and tell you what happened, but that's what they were asking me about. Okay, so obviously it wasn't on fire, but somebody was having a bonfire, but it was not cool. It was not a good idea. So, all right, let's see, where were we? Do we feel... does the way we feel influence what we experience spiritually? Yes, it's all coming back to that, you guys. It's all coming back to that. Are some lives intertwined in ways that make certain spiritual connections difficult to avoid? Yes. Yes. Yes, and sometimes you have to walk away. Sometimes you just have to walk away. Yes. Is that for our highest good? Yes. And is that, if we have those intertwined lives, did we choose that to, because we knew it would be hard to avoid the spiritual connections? Yes. Can we tell when someone we follow spiritually has been compromised? Yes. Yes. Because okay. I need to think about this because I'm just thinking, like, if it's not resonating with you, it's because you're just resonating at a different level. So, people who hang out here in the community, we probably are all vibrating around the same level of vibration. Is that true? I had never asked that before. Yes. So it doesn't mean you agree with everything I say or my approach or whatever. Of course not, because there's a lot of human stuff involved here too. But vibration wise, if you're like, my God, I've had many people say, boy, I feel like I can just sit and have coffee with you. And I probably would feel the same way with you because we are vibrating at the same level. Now, there are people who come and go, as we've talked about before. And sometimes I'm trying to figure out why. It's probably because they start vibrating at different levels. They may go down a little bit depending on what's going on in their lives, and they just can't handle this level. Or they may be going up and they're like, yeah, I'm done talking about that. I feel that way about certain people that I used to love listening to. Doesn't mean they're wrong, and it doesn't mean I'm not extremely full of gratitude for the time that I spent with them, but I'm ready to move on. And I'm just accepting that in our own community. But I do know there are a lot of other people, which is why we have this little like help us get to 100K, because I think there are a lot of other people who don't even know we exist that would love to hang out with us at our level of consciousness, and why not? Let's find each other. So yeah, there's that. So if you see my little teasers, that's what it's all about, the Star Trek teasers. So the question is, are people really compromised? That's really the word I got a little hung up on. No. So it's all about language here. Why do we think anybody's compromised? Because they're vibrating at a lower level than you? I mean, is that fair to say they're compromised? I don't think so. No, it's not fair. Okay, lead team, I just need to double check. Are you responding to our questions based on my energy right now? No. Are you responding based on my biases? They have a standing order for me to never do that, so I just like to clarify sometimes for your benefit, just so you know that. They're saying yes. Standing order. Okay. Are some people abandoning spiritual practices because of misunderstood experiences? Yes. Or is it sometimes too hard for their nervous systems to adjust? Yes. Do stronger negative entities require stronger protection methods? No. Again, there's so many nuances to that question. If we are vibrating at a level that's equal to those negative entities, would we want to make sure we're doing spiritual protection? Yes. If we are vibrating higher than a negative entity, do we need a strong or any protection? No. That's why just focusing on your own vibration is the most important thing. Rather than trying to figure out the best spiritual protection, use what you're just comfortable with and what resonates with you, Do stronger, okay, we did that. Is there a way to stop remote viewers from observing you? Yes. Oh, what is the way? Actually, you guys, I did a clearing on this. You just ask. Yes. Can you ask, is it as simple as asking Archangel Michael to never allow remote viewers to observe you? Yes. Will that actually do it? Yes. I mean, we could try it. Does anyone here know how to remote view? We could test it out. But I do have a caveat to this. Is it in our highest and best interest to ask Archangel Michael to prevent remote viewers from observing you from us? No. See, the thing is we're assuming that's a bad thing. Is it helpful? Remote viewing, is that just telepathy, basically? Is putting yourself in an experience and then you can hear in a different way? Yes. Is the fifth dimension going to allow all of us to be remote viewing? Yes. So do we really want to be cutting remote viewers off? No. Are remote viewers able to compromise us in a human negative way? No. Well, they can find out information about us though, right? And use it for nefarious reasons? No. Okay. This is a whole nother topic, remote viewing. I'm going to put it on my list right now, and I'm going to do a call out for questions on remote viewing because we could go down a whole rabbit hole about this. So for those of you who are subscribed and you set notifications, you'll get a notification when I do a post asking for questions about a particular topic. Let's hold the remote viewing for that, okay? And we can pull them here, but when I post it, I'd prefer you put your questions in there. Okay, just a few more questions here. Can physical body weight function as a form of spiritual protection? Wow. Physical body weight. Yes and no. They're saying yes and no. I've never thought of that before. So, do some people who have a hard time keeping their physical body weight in check, are they using that as a form of protection? Yes, including myself. I mean, I fluctuate by like 15. I go up and down my whole life. I've been doing that. But so is that something, and you can be honest, I wouldn't ask this if I didn't want you guys to know. Excuse me. Is that something I'm doing with my physical, like unconsciously doing with my physical body weight? No. Okay, so mine's just more the enjoyment of sugar. Yes. Okay. All right, just checking. But so it is a yes and no. Like sometimes people can use their body weight as a form of spiritual protection for themselves. Yes. But are they actually protecting themselves by doing that? No. Okay. So it is a guard up, basically. They're putting their guards up. Yes. Okay. Can protection lessen the effects of limiting programming? Yes, I'm going to have to think about that. Can spiritual protection lessen the effects of limiting programming? Okay, so conditioning that we've had. Yes. Okay. If we are, again, going back to the vibration where we may not even need, the higher you vibrate, the higher your vibration, the more you ascend, the less protection you need. So, like, does Jesus need spiritual protection? Would Jesus ever think of asking for spiritual protection? No. There you go. But I'm assuming the higher we ascend, the higher our vibration, the more discernment we're able to use when it comes to conditioning programming or limiting programming. Yes, we kind of know when someone's trying to hoodwink us, because you can feel it, like it feels, off. I just use the word off because it might feel differently from one person to the next. Should spiritual gatherings be formally closed for energetic protection? No. And I've never thought to do that, like close spiritually when we're gathering here. So that, yeah, we did say the word should they. Is it in our highest and best to formally close energetic spiritual gatherings? No. So again, not necessary. If we're leaving with you're feeling good, you're leaving with a bunch of love, it's not, they're saying, yes, it's not necessary. Can repeated numbers, ear ringing, and energetic sensations indicate that guides are intentionally limiting communication until someone is ready? Oh, yes. Now it is, can it be? So yeah, is that one form. Is ear ringing a form of them intentionally limiting communication? I never thought of that. Yes. Oh, right. They're like, yep, your nervous system's not quite ready for what you could be hearing, but we're blocking that. We're just holding it off for you based on probably what you decided in your life plan, with your guides. Fascinating. Okay, you guys, I'm going to tell you a few stories, but this is the end of the questions for today. In a couple of minutes, part 1, 2, you can fast forward until you get the pop-ups if you don't want to hear my little stories. I'm going to talk about the Strait of Hormuz, and I'll show you that video I took last night near my property. So part 1 of this series, 2 and 3, this is part 4. I don't think it says part though. So just so you know, that's where they're going to pop up. Okay. So Strait of Hormuz. Okay, hang on a sec. So Strait of Hormuz, I just thought this was interesting information because it's really hard to get accurate information. There is a gentleman that I listen to. And again, this is not economic or money, financial advice or anything like that, or suggesting you do anything with it. I do really appreciate his approach. I've been watching him for a while. His channel is FOFTY. FOFTY. All right. And he does talk about trading but he also gives you like the overall economic what's going on economically in the United States, but he also looks around the world too. Okay. So I've been watching him to understand where the market is headed, because we're getting up, there's some issues. If you haven't been paying attention, there's just some issues. And with the dollar and our debt and all that kind of stuff. So, but what I really like about him is that, first of all, he's not selling anything with no finance. He's not selling any kind of gold, silver, financial. He has a free membership, so he's not even selling a membership. We sell a membership. But he gives like big picture, and he does it at least once a week, Saturdays, but then he comes out on Wednesdays every once in a while. So I just really like the way he thinks and the kind of information he shares. So anyways, he was sharing information on the Strait of Hormuz because it is a little hard to find out right now. Are we open? Are we closed? What's going on? All right. So he has this graph. I'm going to show you this graph to show you. Okay. So right here, this is 80 ships. So along here, you probably won't be able to see it, but you can see the graph though. You see how many ships we're going through here. And then this is when we've been closed. And then right here is how many is going through right now. So regardless of what you're hearing from government, federal government, we are not open 100%. So this is 100%, the Strait of Hormuz, and this is where we are right now. So I thought that was very helpful to see that visually. The other thing he shared today, and I just wanted to make sure that, some of my peeps here, you were getting the same information. So the other thing he shared was I'll just read this quote. No one wants, and this has to do with the shippers, the shipping companies. No one wants to take a risk as of yet, of going into the strait. Most ship owners are in a wait and watch mode as they want clarity on the terms of getting into the strait. This is from a ship broker. Okay. So regardless, I think this is important because, I got a frog in my throat. I think it's important because we are being led to believe, sorry, I can't get rid of it. I'm having some throat clearing going on. Throat chakra. So we're being led to believe, I think, that things are just going to be smooth as sailing. And it's clear that that's not. Okay. Now, are we getting resources from other countries? I believe so. I believe I heard, and I'm not sure I heard this correctly, but that Trump lifted the sanctions on Russia oil so that we could get Russian oil. I don't know if that's true. I thought I heard somebody say that in passing. So it's so hard to know. And, it's a little frustrating and this is, I think, something we need to question about just government in general. They're supposed to be, at least that's how I assumed government was set up, was to protect the people, right? But it's all about smoke and mirrors, is what it clearly has become. It probably has been smoke and mirrors for 50 years. But that's important for me to know that, because we're each trying to make good decisions for ourselves, right? But you can't even get the right information from our government. They're supposed to be giving us the right information. The same thing happened during the pandemic, right? Which I don't even know. I don't know why people call it that, but it's just so they don't have to say the word here, and people are suspicious about that. So I don't mean to use it because I am necessarily. That's a whole other topic. But I'm just using it to avoid using that term on YouTube. Okay, so that's that. And let me just show you this picture last night. So I look out my window and I see this. I see this last night. Okay. Can you see that flicker, that flame? Yeah, and it kind of looked like, now there is a house right there, and it kind of looked like the tree was on fire. I had no idea. And that is not even as tall as it was. It was super tall for a while. So there. Okay, so I'm like, what? And from my perspective, it looked like a tree was on fire, which is concerning because I literally live in a tree house. Okay. I mean, it's basically, I live in the woods, and it's just we just have trees all over the place. We have a preserve near us. It's just, Anyway, so that's what my neighbor was calling me. I sent her that video and I was like, what's going on here? Like, I think there is a house down there. And so my husband went over there actually, because I just didn't want to overreact, but I did send the video to our president. And I was like, are they allowed to have bonfires? Because we realized they were having a bonfire back there. And my husband walked down there and somebody was maintaining it, but the flames were so tall. And, which happens, But then I thought to myself, my sister has property in a small town that basically is in the woods, and they have bonfires. So I'm like, but, like my brain was trying to settle. The tree wasn't on fire, but I did think it was. So anyway, so we were just talking about like what, my one neighbor said, well, you should have called the fire department, like non-emergency fire department. I'm like, well, once my husband walked down there, I'm not going to, it's not really my job to like monitor that, but we are going to have, not that it's not my job. I mean, I'm willing to do it, but it was like 9:00 at night and I didn't really feel like calling the fire department. You know what I mean? Because then they'd have to come over and talk to you, and and they're having a bonfire. I wasn't worried about it at that point, but we are going to have our property managers call the fire department and just ask them about that. This way we stay out of it, so that felt a little better. But anywho, that was a freaky experience. Okay, you guys. So tomorrow night, the video we're going to do tomorrow night is going to be a culmination of all your questions from these last 4 episodes on the spiritual protection and the vibration and everything that we've been discovering, or I've been discovering. You probably already knew it. But I'm going to wait until this one runs. And then I'm going to pull all the questions from the 4 and try to get through those in tomorrow night's video. And we'll put this kind of little series to rest. I'm going to have to take some notes on this one, though, so I remember it. All right. Take care of yourself. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.